Suman, the CEO of SM at the time, released a statement saying, Novice, who has thus far only appeared in the form of CG in Aespa's music videos, will be showcased as her own AI artist. All of this was announced before SM promptly forgot about her. I imagine that with his departure, so too was the idea of debuting Novice, since it's been more than a year with no further updates about her.
So, about that. I think I am cursed on this channel. I don't know which celestial being I pissed off, but it's clearly one of them. Because every time I open my mouth, whether it's an opinion, speculation, or facts that we know as of the moment I make the video, I quickly get proven wrong and look like an idiot. The most recent example was the AI in K-pop video I made a while back. I'll link it above in case you haven't seen it. It'll provide a lot of context around my general feelings about the tool in the K-pop industry. In it, I mentioned how Novice's debut was shelved and gathering dust since there had been no mention of her. And then, less than 3 months later, she's officially her own artist under SM. I hate my life. The need to know information from that old video to understand this one, if you're not going to watch it, shame on you by the way, is as follows. Number 1, there's a major difference between a virtual idol and an AI idol. Although fans and companies use the terms interchangeably, it's important to get this distinction right. For example, groups like Plave are virtual idols. Real people perform, using motion capture and avatars for their promotions. AI idols, on the other hand, are currently impossible with today's technology. For an idol to be truly AI, they'd need to sing, dance, and perform autonomously. No humans pulling the strings. However, 2 years ago, we were introduced to Novice, who was marketed as the closest thing to an AI idol we've ever seen. Her voice was supposedly synthesized from 12 different voice actresses, and they claimed she'd be able to interact with fans without human input. Which would only be an achievement, need I remind you, if she was actually fully AI. We haven't seen this functionality yet, but it could still be coming. And number 2, I don't like generative AI purely for ethical reasons. I think it takes away jobs from hardworking people and replaces their efforts with half-assed trash. When I first heard Novice was finally going to debut this year, I did the biggest eye roll known to man. But I was also really curious if she was going to live up to SM's lofty promises. Several sources could not keep the same narrative. They would flip-flop between calling her a virtual artist and an AI artist, which I've explained doesn't mean the same thing. But I quickly realized that the reason they couldn't decide what she was is because SM themselves couldn't either. They also alternate between vastly different terminology regarding Novice's nature. Though, to be fair, you could also attribute this to a translation issue. It honestly took reading between the lines and eventually finding an article about the recent partnership between SM and LGU+, where things finally cleared up. The contents of which explain that the partnership will, quote, create a variety of content for Novice, including music videos, short visual clips, and concept images, end quote. Adding to that, quote, SM plans to expand Novice's intellectual property using AI voice technology and generative AI into music, webtoons, games, merchandise, and brand collaborations, end quote. With this partnership, it became clear that Novice is more of a virtual artist being enhanced by AI-driven content rather than being a fully autonomous AI idol. SM and LGU+ seem to be banking on generative AI to fuel her concept and visuals, but the gap between what was initially promised and what is being delivered still feels like a stretch. And to address what I mean, let's actually talk about the debut now, and how it is absolute trash. On September 10th, 2024, Novice debuted with the single Done. To be clear, Novice was publicly performing prior to this date. She'd been showcased on Aespa's recent tour with this very song. This was simply her official debut in a music video and to streaming platforms. No exaggeration, watching it felt like witnessing a slow-motion car crash. The song itself is nearly unlistenable thanks to the horrendous voice, which ironically is the only interesting part of the track. I can't tell if this is the synthesized voice or if they layered it with so much autotune and filters to make it sound even more robotic, tying into Novice's role in Aespa's lore. Either way, it was unnecessary. There was also the assumption circulating that the Aespa's members' voices were included in the database for Novice's final voice, due to its startling resemblance to Ning Ning's and Winter's vocal tones in some parts of the song. But I couldn't find anything official from the company confirming that. What's worse is we already have an artist like Hatsune Miku, who does this type of concept so much better. Miku debuted in 2007, almost 20 years ago, using a similar voice synthesis approach, and she sounds cleaner and more advanced. There's no excuse for Novice to sound as bad as she does when Miku set the standard nearly 2 decades ago. You might be wondering to yourself, am I calling Novice a discount Miku? Yes I am. The instrumental of the song is so basic it borders on cardboard, and the music video itself sees Novice transitioning through various forms, all of which I'm sure will have their own merchandise and spread across plenty of advertisements. But notably, I wasn't able to find any AI elements in the music video. There was a singular scene that looked slightly off, but on closer inspection, it seems as though it is simply a CGI face planted onto a dancer's body. Hence why the body moves so fluidly, yet the face remains rigid. This very realization is what leads me to my next point. If SM was going to use a human as the base for Novice, why not just debut a human being? If it's for lore purposes, she can still have a metaverse version of herself like the Aespa members do. This train of thought continued to lead me down to, inevitably, the number of trainees currently under SM, working day and night to finally debut, only to see Novice announced as the newest addition to the artist lineup. How disheartening that must be. And yet again highlighting how replaceable these idols are to the companies. There's also the possibility that SM believes it's too late to add another member without disrupting Aespa's synergy or upsetting the fans. But surely, in my mind at least, that would have to be more appealing to the company monetarily speaking. Instead, they're pouring money into motion capture, CGI, and 3D modeling for Novice, while still hiring dancers to carry her in real-life settings, at least in a music video. It seems like a convoluted and expensive loop just to land right back where we started, with human beings being at the core of the entertainment industry. And I'm pretty sure their objective here was still accomplished despite that. To pay the people doing the most work in the public eye even less than they already do. You can bet that the dancer portraying Novice in the music video isn't getting anywhere near the paycheck that any of the Aespa members get. Instead of debuting a real artist who would need full promotions, appearances, and pay, they can just pay for CGI and motion capture, which, while costly upfront, probably cuts down on the overall long-term expenses. They get to create this virtual idol who never gets tired, never ages, never gets sick, and never has personal issues. Basically a company's dream artist. But then they still end up hiring a human to do all of the physical work behind the scenes, like dancing, without the same level of recognition or compensation. It's pretty shady when you think about it. So they get to save money, generate hype around the novelty of a virtual artist, and still rely on actual people to pull it all together. It's all about the illusion of advancement, while actually undercutting the value of the people behind the scenes. And this is truly what I mean by Novice's debut was unnecessary. It feels more like a marketing stunt wrapped in the guise of innovation than an actual step forward in the evolution of K-pop. The concept of AI idols may sound cutting edge, but in reality, the execution still relies heavily on human labor, just without giving those humans the credit or compensation they deserve. Companies like SM are using this new technology not to enhance artistry, but to cut corners and maximize profits by creating an artist who doesn't need the same care, promotion, or respect as real people do. Novice is ultimately a reflection of the industry's desire to push boundaries without truly investing in its artists. With that being said, that'll be it from me for now. See y'all next time. Bye-bye!